Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633, and today I'm bringing a review of the Transformers Robots in Disguise 3-Step Changing Grimlock figure. Now, I normally don't get these lines that are mainly towards the younger audiences when it comes to like very easy transformations and just made in a way that a lot of kids could just play with the toy instead of going right into looking at all the steps and so on. But since they pretty much almost confirmed at the beginning that we will not be getting Voyager-style Transformers of the RID in the near future or at all, I decided to get this Grimlock, and I've seen photos of it floating around, and I've seen a few other reviews, and I was still kind of on the fence about it. But actually getting it in hand, I'm actually really impressed with this Grimlock toy overall. Now, while it doesn't have the high amount of articulation points the Voyager version would look like, I still think he has pretty cool design overall, and I really like the head sculpt of this figure. I think it really pops out, and while it might not be Generation style, I still think it's a pretty neat figure. We'll take a quick look at the box, which I don't know what Hasbro was thinking with this one. It's an open style box similar to like the Bandai products, and I really don't know what is with the style of the open style boxes. It would have been better if it's just sealed off and so on, so then it wouldn't have the damage on the figure and you have to look for the better copy of the figure and so on. So I don't know why they decided to do it with the open style box. You can't even demo it because it's all sealed inside and so on, so I really don't see the purpose to that. Shows that I can transfer into 3 steps. And on the back it shows the 3 steps as well, and how it scans into the app and so on. And then a bunch of the legal information and so on. On the bottom, it shows that there's also a 3-step only, which I'll not be getting because I think it's really dumb. I don't really care for non-accurate things. I think this Grimlock is accurate enough in terms of scale and so on, which I'll show in a minute. And it says that you always obviously have to attach the tail since it's not assembled inside the box. Now, Grimlock here, fortunately, only has, well, in quotations, articulation points per se. The only one he has is that his arms can turn 360 on a really tight joint on both sides, and that's all you're getting, since even though his waist does kind of turn, it's for the transformation and nothing else. He doesn't have any joints in the leg unless you count his going left and right due to transformation, and that's it. But that isn't the reason to get this figure. The real reason is, really, personally, I think it's actually the size of the robot, which now I'll show a quick comparison with some of the other figures in the line. You can see he's pretty nice scaled to the other Robots in Disguise Deluxes. And I think this actually works pretty well, and although he doesn't have articulation, I still think it looks well as a suitable, in quotations, Voyager scaled figure to go alongside the rest of the Autobots. Now, being a 3-step changer and transformation-wise, you're not going to get a whole lot, but I still really enjoy what this figure has altogether. Now, what you're going to do for transform him, you're going to turn this piece around, so now, you can see, his head actually hides inside. Then you're going to bend this forward and close it off. You can just see for the back. You're just going to peg these together, like that. Pull up his lower jaw, and then close it up on the top there. Turn his beast hands, turn his legs, and there you have Grimlock in his beast mode. Now, as mentioned earlier, it is a very simple transformation, but this is one made for the younger audiences, so it's understandable. And I gotta admit, I'm really impressed with the Dino mode altogether. Now, while the tail is kind of weird since it bends to the side and it's not a full piece, it's just a small piece that clips onto a sideways way and you can't move it or anything, I still think for the limitations of the figure, there isn't a lot of problems with it, so that's good. In this mode, he's got a little bit more articulation technically. What you're going to do is turn these leg pieces around, since these were his arms. And the cool part is his dino arms can move, so at least you can move the arms there. And if you want, even though it dislocates it, kind of give it a jaw joint as well. So in terms of articulation, obviously you're still not going to get a whole lot, but I still think he does pretty good for what he has. Now, to make a quick comparison with the other Autobots, which I'll get to now, you can see that even in Beast Mode, it's not really all that badly scaled. Obviously, it is a bit off since Grimlock was pretty huge in the show, which obviously still hasn't aired yet, but it's still not that bad of a size. I really like what Hasbro and I guess Takara on this one, but mostly Hasbro has done to make this figure. Now what you can do is kind of make it in a higher stance, so that now that its tail actually hits the ground, it looks a little better to me. And with that, it does add a little bit of a cheated scale, so now he does look a little taller than he did before. And I think it's a little bit more in scale because of that, but otherwise, there isn't much you can do otherwise. I still think it's a really nice figure overall, and I highly enjoy it. Now, while the 3-Step Changer Grimlock might not be for all collectors, it might not be up to your taste since it isn't a generation-style figure with high amounts of articulation or anything else. It is still obviously made for a younger audience, and obviously it does have its own limitations, but I really enjoy this figure overall. I think it's a pretty sweet representation for what they have, and they could have just made the deluxe one and leave it at that, but at least they went ahead and made the little bit better scale Grimlock. Now the reason why I didn't get the deluxe one is not only because I hear problems that I heard something about the arms breaking in that one from a lot of people just getting it out of the box, but personally I kind of prefer the scale over just full-on articulation. While it's nice to have articulation, as long as they made a figure that has a much better scale and looks really nice, even with limitations, I still really think this figure has a lot to offer, even for, in quotations, the transformation isn't all highly engineered or anything. But I still think it's pretty impressive. I got this around at Target for around 20 bucks, and while that's a bit might sound a bit pricey, keep that in mind that the Generations Voyagers go for 25 to 30 now. So for a $20 price, for a somewhat articulated figure and a pretty big scale, which is pretty impressive. Now, I didn't bring First Edition Prime, but when I checked it earlier, surprisingly, this figure is actually taller than the First Edition Voyager, which actually really shocked me, because I wasn't expecting it to be this tall in robot mode. And I think that's pretty cool. Anyways, I still recommend it if you like Transformers Servants of the Skies, and I still recommend it if you like Grimlock and so on, and I think he does a pretty good job for being a good toy for the character. Anyways, please kindly subscribe, check out Hero Otaku, also check out the Associate Podcast at Rajio Nihon, WRW, Hero Talk and Hero News, and I'll see you YouTube.